welcome back to Chasing Green Arrows. Is the international break going on, but there's plenty of football to come in the Premier League and Champions League. I thought today we'll discuss the Champions League quarterfinal draw and how the matches will set up. I have with me Rayan Ahmed, big Chelsea fan. How are you doing, bro?
Fine, bro. Mustafa, I'm fine. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well, man. Feels good, to be in the Champions League quarterfinal.
Yeah, this feeling. I got this last time probably 7 years back, 2014. I was still an 8th grader. Champions League quarterfinal feeling since then.
Wow. The only thing better than that for me is Europa League quarterfinal place.
That's you got such big teams like Granada and Molde and Slavia Praha. I mean, those are the cream of Europe teams.
Yeah, so man.
You got the cream there. We are in a smaller second grade competition.
But mouth-watering contest, some really tough games. I didn't expect it to be this tough. Man City and Bayern won't be. One of them won't be in the final for sure. So that's a huge kind of thing.
That's a given.
Yeah, and so I said, let's start with the games. First of all, Dortmund versus City. Right now, everyone's talking about City as the favorites, but we've seen in the last 5 years, they have an issue at this stage in the Champions League. And this is the kind of team that they actually lose to. They lost to Monaco, Liverpool, Tottenham, and Lyon. So it's not like they're losing to the top. They're losing to these kind of teams. And Dortmund is that kind of team who probably not the biggest team, but they can give you problems, right?
They can cause an upset. The X factors are going to be Sancho and Haaland. Obviously, how they are going to pull apart that City defense. That's going to be very interesting because City have, in the big games they've gone with Stones and Diaz most of the time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a good competition seeing those two against them, and it's just that I'm worried for Dortmund's defense. Because they've lost like 9 games in the Bundesliga, and they've been caught out multiple times by teams. They've conceded quite a few goals this season. So it's going to be it's all going to come down to how well structured Dortmund's defense is going to be, because we know they've got the firepower in attack. They've got 2 of the best young forwards / wingers in the world right now. And coming to City, like you said, all these above average teams have knocked them out last few years when they've been touted as favorites and the most dangerous going into the knockouts. But it mostly boils down to how Pep's going to set up. Usually the media have given him the tag that he overthinks his lineups during the latter parts of the knockout stages, and he usually tries to experiment a lot. But I think Pep will learn from his mistakes, or let's not say mistakes, his actions that he has performed last few seasons, like Lyon and all. So I think he's going to go with the same formula that has worked this season in all the big games and all the Champions League ties. And there is potential for an upset, but I think City are going to be too much. City's attack is going to be too much for the Dortmund defense. But you never know. Haaland 1 chance, 1 goal, and then that could totally change everything.
Yeah, that's the thing. And the pattern, there's one thing that City miss a lot of chances in Champions League. That one thing I've noticed, but also one thing that I've seen a pattern, you probably also have seen this, is that in these games from Monaco, from Liverpool, Spurs, and even last year against
Lyon especially.
Yeah, it's not only the chances, also when they do go a goal behind, they go a bit too over aggressive and then they concede another goal. And if they do score, like against Spurs, I think they took the lead, but then they kept on attacking. They could have sat back for a bit, and sometimes in a knockout game,
hooked up the pressure.
Like 1 goal will change the thing, so you need to be a bit more careful. It's not like a Premier League game where you have a bit more time and everything. Like a knockout is a knockout, right? I think they'll need to be a bit careful in that sense. And one thing about finishing, which it doesn't worry me, but I think what people will be thinking about is they used to lose with Aguero there, but now they don't have a striker, so who's going to step up? In the Premier League, there hasn't been an issue, but when you're playing a knockout game and you're missing chances, then you will really miss that striker, and Dortmund don't have that problem. They have Haaland right there. So I think that's something they'll have to work on. But like you said, you won't be surprised if City go through, because they will provide that constant pressure. If Dortmund crack, that defense cracks, then that's it. There's just 2-3 goals and City will be favorites to win the tie.
The key to you mentioned the Lyon game. You said now, like, once they concede in a knockout game, they concede 1 more because they go overly aggressive.
Yeah.
Like when even one of the other things I mentioned was that in the Champions League stages, once they've gone there, I haven't seen that mentality to come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
Comeback mentality, except when De Bruyne, he scored that equalizer right against Lyon after the. I mean, those 3 goals are some of the I think they only create those chances in the match, Lyon.
Yeah.
So it's most of the time seen as most of the times has been smashing grab against City.
Yeah.
From except Liverpool, that was just some otherworldly performance in 2018. Yeah. But other teams they've mostly been smashing grab against City.
Yeah, like the Spurs game, Monaco game, and Liverpool. To be honest, at that time you didn't expect Liverpool to win, but it was a dominant performance, and that was Liverpool's rise from there. But yeah, I think I have to agree on most of your points. I just feel this is City's banana skin. Maybe they would have preferred playing somebody like a PSG right now. To be honest, I know it sounds very weird. It sounds very weird, but maybe it takes off that pressure, because you're playing a big team.
Exactly.
When you're playing this kind of team and you have a history against these kind of teams, I think it will put pressure on City. But
you'll have this in your mind that if you don't beat them, then what's going to happen to them later? They're going to be called again.
Yeah.
Because they've lost to a semi-tough team.
Yeah. So let's just say potential banana skin, but City favorites to win the tie. But my predictions will say something else when we get to that later on. But the next game, let's talk Liverpool, Real Madrid. Man, it's going to be WWE WrestleMania Part 2, Ramos versus Salah.
The crippler crossface.
Chris Benoit. This is not going to be the same game because there's no Ronaldo. I don't think Bale will be there as well, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be a different game. But Madrid, to be honest, I've watched them this season. Like last season, they won the league, but this season, Hazard's not been there. They're relying too much on Benzema and on Ramos, in terms of set pieces, penalties and stuff. So they're not that fluid, but they might cause this Liverpool team problems who have their own issues.
In this tie, I would say that the first goal is will decide the game. Because that set the tone for the rest of the tie. The first goal in the first leg. Because when you see Madrid, they always, under Zidane, even when they've had that X factor in the knockout series. You cannot deny that. Last year, because you could say and if they have a fully fit Sergio Ramos, then they're definitely the favorites for me. Because Sergio Ramos, not just as a defender but as a leader, he'll drag every single one of his teammates to perform that extra 10%, to give that extra 15-20%, and that reflects on the entire team. And that just changes Madrid's mentality in the knockout stages.
And Ramos, for me, I think is the greatest player right now in Europe. Like the legacy he's left. I know Liverpool fans hate him.
Liverpool fans would say Van Dijk.
But he's played with Zidane. I've seen him since 2004-05, and now he's still playing and he's scoring goals. He's solid at the back, and I think to be honest, he's gonna be the main man, because if he can keep things tight, Benzema will get a few chances up front. I feel with that shaky Liverpool defense, then Real Madrid have a chance. But at the same time, it depends how they soak up the pressure, because the Liverpool front three in the Champions League this season, they've been fluid.
And the thing is, there's going to be no crowds at Anfield as well. So that's also going to play in Real Madrid's favor. Because most of the times you have seen...
That's a huge point. Every Liverpool fan I talk about, they say the biggest problem this season, it's not only Van Dijk, it's the crowd. We don't have that crowd. And Champions League nights in Anfield are expected to
be known as different. Even as a non-Liverpool supporter, you just know that's going to make the team perform that extra... They give them the extra mile.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a bit. That's why I said the first goal in the first leg. If Liverpool come with the lead into the second leg, like Atletico did, but that's a different story. But this season, if they come with the lead into the second leg, and with not Liverpool, if Real Madrid come with the league into the second leg, and there's no Anfield crowd favoring Liverpool, it's going to be tough for Liverpool to crack that Madrid defense if Ramos is present and does not get suspended, because we know he had streak in him.
Yeah. Is he a yellow card away?
I didn't see that, Musaf. I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Modric and Kroos expect a bit more from them. They Modric is a class player, but this season they haven't been as fluid. So
midfield is going to be key.
Yeah, they'll need to bring the A game. They have the talent, but they need to bring the A game against this Liverpool side. I think that wraps it up. You're tipping either side probably, whoever scores first, you're saying.
That's very, very tough to decide this game. If Liverpool come in with the lead, then they'll have a lot of confidence. And when a confident Liverpool team and with Klopp rallying his troops, they're a totally different animal to play against. So it's a topsy-turvy tie. It's a 50-50. You can't decide.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. And then moving on to the next game, it's your boys Chelsea versus Porto. You guys got the best draw. I know that you can't take them for granted because they beat Juventus. I understand that completely, but just on paper, it looks like a very nice draw. But are you tad worried because of the performance against Juventus?
I'd say I'm worried not because of their performance against Juventus, but because our failure to take down low, deep-lying defenses, deep blocks. Because Porto have got a mad deep block. With Pepe and all those guys winning second balls, it's going to be tough for us to break them down. But, and in Champions League, in the knockout stage, everything's different. Anyone can beat anyone. You've seen so many upsets over the years.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I'm worried because our defense has improved so much in the last 3 months. So I think we'll be able to tackle them on the counter, but us breaking their defense down, that seems like a big task. So if we get into the second leg with a halfway decent lead without conceding with a couple of away goals, then I think we are the favorites. But in Champions League, you can never say what's going to happen.
Yeah,
anything can happen.
And to be honest with you, I'm really impressed by Tuchel. I was just watched his interview just now with Rio Ferdinand as well, just like an hour ago. I like the way he speaks. I like his mind as well. The very tactical mind. He's a proper coach. But I think one thing which is not in his hands is the finishing. And that's the problem that Chelsea have. He's getting the tactics right. They're defending well. But, people are saying, 1-0, 1-1. It's not that they're not getting chances. Even against Liverpool, when they won, what was it, 1-0 or 2-0? They should have won.
It should have been 3 or 4.
Yeah,
3 or 4.
Exactly. So that is the problem. And in Champions League, like you said, you can get punished if you don't take your chances. So that's something that Chelsea somehow have to work on it. Like, I don't know, man. Werner needs to get some good luck.
I don't know. He needs to get some luck in this international break. He has to find something, man.
Yeah.
He needs to get...
He's getting into positions. He
gets into so many positions. He's missed 13 big chances this season. 13 big chances. Yeah. You go by XG, he's missed like 6 XG, expected goal. That's huge. Yeah. The thing is, I'm telling you now, Chelsea's problem is kryptonite, you'd say, is low blocks. We just can't break them down. We fail to break them down. We need maybe a Mason Mount or a Havertz to just play that final ball. And we need Werner to just show up once and just get that finish in. And I think even with a slender margin against Porto, we should be fine in the second leg. We need that first leg. We cannot go 0-0 or with a deficit because they will just set an 11-0-0 formation in front of us, and it will be really hard to beat them after.
There's some really good points. It's a very good way to look at it because on paper it just looks like Chelsea will steamroll, but like you said, that's not going to be the case. And but if they get the goals, then Chelsea will be on top. If they get a good 2-3-0 lead in the first leg, then they'll
first 15-20 minutes of the first leg is going to be crucial because against Juventus as well, first 15-20 minutes. After that, not even the first 15-20 minutes, the first 10 minutes. I think in the second minute they got a goal and they still pressed the next 8 to 10 minutes. And after that, they just sat back. Yeah. And then in the second half, they came out pressing, they got the goal, and then they sat back. And Juve couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
They just got one goal. They broke through, and Chiesa got that goal. But it's crucial because in the first 15-20 minutes, they're going to come out pressing in the first leg. You watch it. You remember that, Mustafa, right? They are going to do that. Yeah. So at that time, when we have some space in behind, we have to take advantage of it. And you have to finish.
I agree. And if you guys do finish, then you guys also have Chelsea have that defense as well to keep those clean sheets. They've been performing outstandingly, the back 4, back 5. But I think you're right. I completely agree with you on those points. And then moving on, this is probably the most star-studded game of the quarterfinals. Ballers all round. PSG versus Bayern, repeat of the final of last season.
Yes.
Do you see Bayern slightly worse this season, or they're still going to be unbeatable like in the Champions League?
Their attack has probably gotten better and their defense has gotten significantly weaker. It's just that Neuer has probably gone back to those FIFA 14 days, 2014 World Cup, pre-2014 World Cup, those days when he had like 25 limbs on his body and he used to save everything.
Yeah.
So Neuer has been keeping Bayern's defense really intact. But I think because of they could use Neymar's creativity, just playing him through balls in behind that relatively slow Bayern defense, and except for Alphonso Davies, that guy, he's a phenom, and Mbappe's speed on the counter. Those are going to be real crucial matchups. You could say Mbappe on the against Pavard, and I don't know who, maybe Di Maria against Alphonso Davies probably. So that the Bayern PSG is going to be more about matchups, I'd say, over tactics.
Yeah,
Individual matchups is going to decide the time.
To be honest with you, like Grealish is one player who like I love watching, but like one of my favorite players,
Me too.
one of my favorite players to watch is Neymar. Like a lot of people don't like him, and I think his problem is he doesn't finish. Okay, and he dives a lot. I understand, but when he does, like when he's on the ball, you want to watch him. He's that player. He's box office.
He's the difference maker.
The difference between him, Messi, and Ronaldo is those two are like they're very lethal in front of goal. Like they'll finish everything. They're very clinical. They won't give you a half chance. Over here, this guy, like he messes around, he makes the defender look stupid, but then he also misses. So I think he just needs to improve that clinicalness. And he has Mbappe with him, so like he needs to get that final pass as well. Sometimes he messes up the final pass, but just watch him on the ball, especially in these games against Bayern. Just watch him. I think he's gonna be class. And Mbappe, man,
he's going to be crucial breaking that defense.
He's going to be crucial. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you.
And on from the Bayern side of things, those front four, Coman, Sane, Muller, and Lewandowski, those guys are like superhuman this season.
They're beasts.
I couldn't believe an attack could be upgraded. Lewandowski's got like 35, 36 goals in 25 games, and he's hit another level. And PSG's defense is also, you could say they could target Kimpembe and Marquinhos, although they're pretty solid.
Yeah.
So it's probably it's going to be a tasty and.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think I expect a lot of goals in this game. Who are you tipping?
I honestly, you might not believe this, but I'm going for a PSG win.
Me too, man. But if Bayern do win this, they're going to play City as well, but they'll get a lot of confidence because I think they've already
City or Dortmund.
Yeah, City or Dortmund. If it's again, it looks
you
like
you have to be a little.
This might be Bayern's toughest test, even though the City fans will argue otherwise. But at the same time, we'll get a good marker. If they win convincingly, that's it, man. It's going to be very difficult to beat them this season. You'll need a bit of luck. But like you said, the defense has become a bit weaker, so maybe teams can exploit that. But you still need to block those machines as well up front. And for you,
machine, exactly.
Is Lewandowski still the best striker in Europe, or will you give that tag to Haaland?
No, Lewandowski, any day of the week.
Any day of the week.
He's in his prime. Yeah. He's got 35 goals, and last 2 years, I don't think anyone has hit his level in terms of being a striker. Maybe Lewandowski and Kane top two up there.
Yeah, no, even me, I think he's like nice. I think Haaland is he still needs to do a lot to get to that level. I think he will.
He'll take over from Lewandowski.
Yeah, he'll take him over. But right now, Lewandowski as well. Yeah, he's unbelievable up front, and that's what PSG need to be careful of. They have their own players and chances. These teams are attacking teams. It's whoever takes their chances. That's what it is in these kind of games.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think that wraps up all 4 games. Any last thoughts? Who do you think is which player is going to score the most goals in this round? And anything you want to talk about?
If you want to know. In my opinion, I think it's going to be one of these. I think it's controversial, but I think I'll give you the top 3 scorers from the quarterfinals. Okay, so I'll go with Lewandowski first.
Yeah.
Then I'll go with Raheem Sterling. It's going to sound a little off. I'm going to go with Raheem Sterling 2.
Yeah.
And number 3, who did I say was one? Lewandowski, right?
Yeah.
And number 3 might be Giroud.
Probably, yeah, it could be.
Or he's got 6 goals this season.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just going off beat. But Benzema also that it's really tough to predict.
It could be, and I to be honest, I wouldn't mind watching a Liverpool-Chelsea semi-final and a City-Bayern semi-final. Although I would personally like to see PSG Dortmund in the semis, but those would be mouth-watering if it happens like that, and there's every possibility.
I would like to see Chelsea versus Real Madrid.
Yeah, I'm a big Zidane
Yeah.
fan, so I don't mind watching that as well. Like Zidane, I really like Ramos and Benzema as well, so that will be good.
And
But-
Chelsea haven't faced Real Madrid in Europe for a long time.
Yeah. No, yeah, I completely agree with you. Some fantastic points, man. Looking forward to these games. I'll catch you after the games as well. We'll do some Premier League contact. Make sure you put the predictions for this game.
Yes, sir.
You're very close to the top as well. So our Champions League predictions are
First,
running.
second leg.
yeah, but you always have a chance to come up. There's still like quite a few
Yes,
legs
sir.
to go till the final. So make sure everyone also just like make your predictions before the Champions League. We'll put a post and then you can put your predictions there. But thank you so much for joining me. It was a great talk. I think you analyzed
Thank you. My pleasure.
analyzed it wonderfully, and I'll see you soon, man. Take care.